and some others. She asked, let's go off her last question, regarding how can DOL better support a state agency to return to an earlier line of questioning by others. Obviously, one of the concerns, and just to hear your straightforward response to this, is that the DOL Office of Inspector General had warned your state agency in May of 2020 that at least $1.2 billion in benefits paid out in March and April were potentially fraudulent. And it seems as if these red flags are being raised and were not addressed by your department in California until August of 2020, at which point the $600 stimulus checks had run out. It kind of begs the question, why did your agency not respond more quickly? And if DOL has to do more, what more should DOL do to have an agency be more responsive?
Thank you so much, Senator. Thank you for our conversation also. So I think on those questions, again, the perfect storm of challenges that we faced in California, that all states faced, there was the Federal Department of Labor's warning about fraud. That itself has also really been, evolving over time. The estimate of what the fraud was at the beginning has gone up because we have seen that the massive attacks, they weren't the typical kind of fraud that usually hits the unemployment insurance system.
Let me ask, because as I understand, the specific thing pinpointed was the lack of identification, insufficient requirement for identification. Now, that seems as if that would be roughly scalable, that yes, we have a lot more, but we still got to check your identity, because whether it's few or many, we have to know it's truly somebody who is worthy, who exists, is actually applying. And DOL flagged that. So I guess just to go back to my question, what could DOL have done differently, and why was there such a hesitancy in your department to respond to the warnings they did give?
So, Senator, that question really goes to Senator Kane's point. The concern that the DOL OIG raised was because by design, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program was meant to pay out to individuals who were not eligible for regular UI and who did not have either employer records, which the traditional UI system checks against, or prior earnings, which the traditional UI system guards against. As I mentioned, in California, that kind of fraud was comparable to prior years of fraud. The massive fraud was in a system that was by design did not have those in place. And I believe what the DOL was doing was raising the concern about that. The other vulnerability in the system was what is known as automatic backdating. Basically, when somebody applied for PUA, they could get benefits back to the beginning of the pandemic. And it was that vulnerability that became exploited. Now, the rule that DOL had at the time was automatic backdating. Again, once we saw the spike in those claims, which was in August, in the first week of September, we shut down automatic backdating. That then triggered the Department of Labor, followed by instructing all states to do so. So again, I think that this is a front on the battle that we have to bring, build a table with experts to really be smart about how we address them, collaborate between the states so that states are not fighting the battle on their own. But at the end of the day, truly understanding what happened and why it happened is going to be very important for fixing the problem.
Next, let me ask, as regards the multi-employer pension funds, which Senator Hassan just raised, because I think you'll be part of that process. The $86 billion in debt was wiped away, but no structural changes were made. We could begin reaccumulating that debt. What ideas do you have that could prevent us from just getting another $86 billion until we blow out spending sometime in the future and don't pay for it in a way to clear the deck?
So, Senator, without a lot of time left to address that fully, I will commit to working on that issue if confirmed. I think that relates to my general approach, which is that I do think we have to solve problems before they become bigger problems, and being clear-eyed and being thoughtful and bringing experts to the table to really understand the problem, how we got there, and how we prevent it in the future, I would assure you would be a priority of mine in my approach to the job if I'm confirmed.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. Senator Murphy.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Welcome. Thank you for your prior service and your willingness to serve at the federal level. I wanted to